The sky above New York was calm. People looked up and gasped. A massive alien ship was floating above the city. It was quiet, no sound, no movement, just watching. The news called it the arrival of peace. The alien ship looked like a silver mountain in the sky, bigger than any building. It didn't attack. Instead, it sent one message to all of Earth. We come in peace. We want friendship, no war. The alien voice was deep but gentle. Every TV and phone showed the same thing. A tall alien leader, blue skin, sharp black eyes, long arms, smiled and raised its hand. Let us build together. The war is over. Let this be the beginning of something new. The people of Earth cheered. Cities rang with music. Fireworks filled the sky. Kids ran in the streets waving flags. The world believed peace had finally come. But General Mason didn't smile. Deep under Colorado, in a military base that didn't exist on any map, Mason stood in a dark room. His eyes were fixed on a red light blinking slowly on a screen. He didn't blink. They're lying, he said quietly. Behind him, a young intelligence officer looked confused. Sir? The treaty was signed this morning. The council confirmed full peace. Mason turned toward the screen. It showed images from a hidden satellite near Jupiter. Alien ships, dozens of them, were sitting in the dark, engines still hot. Not moving toward Earth, but not leaving either. No one keeps warships that close if they mean peace, Mason said. They're waiting for something, maybe for us to fall asleep. The president of Earth smiled in public and shook hands with the alien envoy. Every screen showed images of happiness. The treaty had brought calm, but behind closed doors she met with Mason and his top team. Is Project Sentinel ready? She asked him. It's been ready for 10 years, Mason answered. We never trusted them. We just waited. She looked tired. Let's hope we never need it. The truth was, Earth had never stopped building weapons. After the last war, with the Andari Empire, Earth knew the galaxy could not be trusted. While the people danced in the streets deep under the ground, Earth's true defenses were sleeping, waiting. In the next few weeks, alien ambassadors arrived in cities. They were polite, smart, and moved like they were studying everything. They said they came to learn about humans, about culture, peace, friendship. In Washington, an alien named Kolek sat in front of human leaders. We were once like you, he said. We fought, feared, and hated. But we learned, we evolved. Let us help you evolve too. He smiled. It looked almost human. But a strange thing happened 2 nights later. In the middle of the ocean, a human submarine detected something unusual, an energy signal from the moon's far side. The moon base was supposed to be inactive. Earth had shut it down years ago, but the signal was not from Earth. A drone was sent. It circled quietly above the moon's dark surface. Its camera zoomed in. There it was, a new base. Massive. Built into the rock. Alien symbols marked the entrance. It had no heat signature, no open power, but one thing was clear. The weapons were pointing straight at Earth. General Mason saw the footage and stayed quiet for a full minute. They were building this during peace talks? His voice was low and cold. The president called a secret meeting with the Earth Defense Council. The footage was shown. Everyone in the room was silent. We can't reveal this to the public, someone said. If we stay quiet, they'll strike first, Mason said. We don't know that, another said. Maybe it's just a defense post. Then why hide it? At that moment, a civilian whistleblower leaked one photo online. It was blurry, but it showed the moon base. People saw it. Questions began to spread. The alien ambassador quickly responded. It is an old mining facility, he said on live TV. Abandoned long ago. You have nothing to fear. But Earth didn't believe him. Inside a lab in Berlin, human engineers began checking the satellite data again. One of them noticed something strange. A pattern. Every day, one satellite stopped working, like something was slowly blinding Earth's eyes. The next morning, all of Earth's orbital satellites went dark at once. Every single one. No signal, no warning, no explanation. Panic spread like fire. Flights stopped. Ships lost contact. News channels went blank. People looked up into the sky, confused and scared. The alien ships that had been floating peacefully for months now moved. They shifted formation, a pattern that only military minds would understand. And one ship, the biggest of all, lowered its orbit. Closer to Earth. Closer than ever before. The sky over New York turned black again. The same ship that brought peace was now back, and this time it wasn't smiling. It sent one final message. You accepted our gift of peace. You disarmed your fleets. You opened your world. Now we bring order. General Mason stood in the war room, his jaw tight. They waited for us to drop our guard, he said. They never stopped preparing. Behind him, a wall opened. Inside were cold silver weapons glowing blue. Weapons no one on Earth had ever seen before, built in secret. Designed for this very moment, he turned to his team. Project Sentinel is live. No more waiting, no more pretending. From hidden bases across the world, systems powered on. Cannons rose from underground. Stealth ships woke from deep sea shelters. Human fighters flew into the skies. The people of Earth were scared, but the soldiers of Earth were ready. The treaty had been a lie. The peace was fake. But humans, they had seen through it. From the beginning. The stars above Earth still looked the same, but something had changed. The alien ship, once a symbol of peace, now floated like a sword above every major city. The people no longer smiled when they looked up. The silence of the sky felt dangerous. The aliens were watching, waiting. On the moon's dark side, something even worse was happening. Inside a deep alien base, hidden under layers of moon rock, cloning tanks hummed quietly. Long glass cylinders filled with thick green liquid stood in rows. Inside each tank something moved, cloned soldiers, 10,000 of them. They looked like their alien creators, tall, blue-skinned, long arms, but they were different, stronger, built for war, born to obey. These weren't diplomats. These were weapons. At Earth's intelligence HQ located beneath the Rocky Mountains, General Mason stared at the images on his screen. The spy drone had returned from the moon. It captured video before being shot down. They're building an army right above our heads, Mason said. The council was silent. How long have they been doing this? Someone asked. Since the day after the peace treaty, Mason replied. Maybe earlier. The president leaned forward. We were celebrating while they were making soldiers. General Mason nodded. Yes, and now they're almost ready. Someone whispered. We need to tell the people. No, the president said. Not yet. Not until we understand their plan. But time was running out. 2 days later, a whistleblower leaked a photo of the moon base online. It wasn't clear, but it showed enough. Strange machines, alien shapes, weapons pointing toward Earth. The photo spread like wildfire. News anchors tried to calm people, but fear was already growing. Protests began. People demanded answers. Some shouted in the streets, the treaty is a lie. The alien ambassador Kolek held a press conference. He stood tall and calm, just like always. There is no war, he said with a smile. This base is an old mining site, a relic of our past. You misunderstand what you see. He looked into the cameras, his black eyes still and cold. We bring peace, not harm. But General Mason watched the footage closely. He slowed it down, zoomed in. Just for a second. Kolek's smile faded. His eyes narrowed, his lips twitched. It was the truth trying to hide, and failing. That same night, something else happened. In a quiet mountain radar station, a technician named Jules saw something strange on the screen. He rubbed his eyes and stared again. Sir? He called. You need to see this. Dozens of alien drones had launched from the moon. They were silent, almost invisible, moving toward Earth's satellites. Within minutes, the world's orbital eyes began to shut down. One by one, Earth's defense satellites went dark. Black screens. No signals. No control. Earth had gone blind. In cities around the globe, communication began to fail. GPS stopped working. Flights were grounded. Ships turned in circles at sea. People didn't understand what was happening. But Mason did. "This is the first move," he said. "They're cutting off our sight, our communication. Next is power, then control." Inside the command bunker, alarms began to scream. On the screens, the alien ships were moving. No more hiding. No, more pretending. Above every major city, alien crafts changed formation. They dropped lower into the sky, close enough to see their underbelly, lined with glowing pods and metallic claws. Mason activated Level 4 protocol. Across the world, hidden bunkers opened. Secret defense towers rose from the ground. Earth's answer to the betrayal had been hidden but not forgotten. Still, the enemy's plan was already in motion. In London, Paris, and Shanghai, the alien ambassadors disappeared overnight. No goodbyes, no messages, just gone. At the same time, reports of strange lights and attacks came in. Alien agents had stayed behind, and now they were turning on their hosts. In Washington, a human guard found a diplomat's room filled with weapons, blades that glowed, tools that could melt steel. Bombs hidden inside gifts meant for human leaders. The betrayal was no longer secret. It was war. But Earth was ready. Inside a secret hangar in Alaska, a massive black aircraft powered on. It had never been seen by the public. It was fast, silent, deadly, built for moments just like this. "Send the Sentinel units," Mason ordered. 10 of Earth's most advanced fighters launched. They raced into the sky, dodging debris from destroyed satellites. Their mission: find the source of the alien drone signal and shut it down. Meanwhile, human cyber teams worked deep inside a mountain facility. They had one goal: regain control of Earth's own space systems. But the enemy was smart. Alien firewalls blocked every signal. Their code was complex, written in languages Earth had barely cracked. That's when Cerberus came online. Cerberus was an AI, built in secret. Its mind wasn't human, but it thought like one. It had learned by watching wars, games, and even human lies. Now it studied the alien code. "This language is based on patterns," Cerberus said. "Patterns can be broken." In less than 60 seconds, it hacked into one of the alien drones. The image on Mason's screen changed. A live feed from the alien moon base appeared, and what it showed was terrifying. The cloned soldiers were moving. Thousands of tanks were opening. Liquid drained. The creatures inside stepped out. Their eyes glowed faintly in the dark. Their arms flexed. They were waking up and waiting for orders. A timer blinked in the corner of the screen. It was counting down. 12 hours. In 12 hours, those soldiers would be ready. Mason turned to the president. "They're not stalling. They're preparing. And when they land, they'll kill everything that doesn't bow." The president's face hardened. "Then we don't wait. We strike first." Mason nodded. "Full activation?" "Full activation." Every continent received the same coded message. "Project Sentinel, Stage 2. Humanity will not kneel." The cities of Earth were no longer peaceful, but the people had not broken, not yet. They had been lied to, but they had never trusted the lie. Now, they were ready to fight. 12 hours. That's what the countdown showed on every screen inside the Earth Defense Command. 12 hours until the alien clones would be ready. 12 hours until war would begin. But Earth wouldn't wait. In a frozen bunker buried under Antarctica, something massive opened its eyes for the first time in 10 years. A giant machine, 30 meters tall, jet black armor, 2 arms that could crush tanks. Its chest glowed faint blue and a deep hum shook the walls around it. It was called Hammer 1, one of 7, a part of Earth's last line of defense, Project Titan. Created in secret, these war machines were made after the first alien contact. when Earth realized the galaxy wasn't full of peace, but predators. Most people didn't even know these machines existed, but General Mason did. He had personally picked the crew, trained the pilots, and hidden them beneath layers of ice and silence. Now he stood before them. "The time we feared has come," Mason said through the command speaker. "We were lied to, tricked, but we saw through the lie. Now we strike back." The pilot of Hammer 1, Captain Lian Cho, stepped into her suit. Her heartbeat was calm, her eyes sharp. She had trained her whole life for this moment. Across the world, similar bunkers came alive. 6 more Titans stood up from their deep sleep. Japan, Siberia, Sahara, Andes, Canada, and the Mariana Trench. Each one hidden, each one deadly. Meanwhile, the alien clones on the moon began to move. The countdown was now at 8 hours. Their ship hangars opened. Flight pods lined up like arrows. The aliens had been grown for war. No fear, no doubt. Only one mission: conquer Earth. Inside the alien command base, Kolek watched the Earth from a tall viewing tower. He was no longer smiling. "Let them resist," he said to his second-in-command. "It makes their defeat more satisfying." His voice was calm, cold. He did not know Earth had already launched its counterattack. In space, Earth's stealth ships moved in silence. They flew behind alien patrol routes using gravity slingshots and radar shadows. One of these ships, the Eclipse, was flying toward the dark side of the moon. Its job: destroy the cloning facility before the alien soldiers could deploy. Captain Reyes, an old soldier with a scar under his eye, sat in the cockpit. "If this works," he said, "we delay the invasion." "And if it doesn't?" asked his co-pilot. Reyes looked ahead. "Then we give them hell before we fall." They reached the moon's surface. The alien base looked like a fortress carved into stone. Huge towers, massive gates, blue energy walls. Reyes gave the order: "Send the bomb drones." 10 small pods shot forward, fast, silent, invisible to most sensors. They reached the outer wall and exploded. The blast shook the moon. A crack formed on the wall. Alarms went off inside the alien base. For the first time, the clones inside paused, but it wasn't enough. A massive energy shield dropped into place. The Earth team couldn't get through. Captain Reyes gritted his teeth. "Plan B, get me into that base." He flew the Eclipse straight toward the shield wall. From Earth, General Mason watched through the satellite feed. "He's not going to make it," someone whispered. But Reyes didn't stop. The ship slammed into the shield. It shattered. The energy wall flickered and died. But the Eclipse was gone. Everyone in the room stood silent. "He knew," Mason said quietly. "He knew what it would cost." The path to the clone tanks was now open. Back on Earth, the Titans were ready. Each stood like a mountain of metal and fire. Pilots in position. Engines hot. The alien ships had begun to descend. One came down over New York, another over Cairo, a third over Sydney. Each carried hundreds of clone pods. From inside the Titan bunkers, Earth's war machine stepped out. People on the streets looked up, confused, then gasped. "What is that?" "It's ours," one soldier said, smiling. Hammer 1 launched first. It flew on twin-ion engines and landed on top of a building in Manhattan. The ground cracked under its weight. Its metal fist lit up. Then, it struck. The alien ship above New York didn't expect resistance. It never saw the blow coming. Hammer 1 punched straight through its hull. The ship exploded mid-air. Fire rained down on the city, but not from Earth. The people watching screamed, then cheered. In Cairo, Titan 7 burst through the sand like a desert god. It leapt into the sky, tackled the alien craft mid-air, and brought it crashing to the dunes. In Sydney, Titan 4 climbed the Opera House, locked on target, and fired twin plasma cannons. The enemy ship burst into flames above the harbor. The clones inside hadn't even touched the ground. Back on the moon, the alien general saw it all. "How?" he asked. Kolek looked at the battle feed. Earth wasn't supposed to have these weapons, these machines, this resistance. They were never as weak as they looked, his second-in-command said. Kolek stared at the earth below. No, he said. They were never peaceful. They were just waiting. He sent a new order. Deploy Phase 2. All units. Total suppression. On the moon's surface, hundreds of alien tanks began moving toward Earth. But Earth was not done yet. In orbit, Cerberus, the AI, had taken over an abandoned alien drone. It was now inside their system. It did something unexpected. It opened their hangars. All of them. At once. Hundreds of alien ships were pulled out too early. Engines still unstable. Weapons not ready. Some exploded before launch. Others spun out of control. On Earth, Mason smiled for the first time in years. They underestimated one thing, he said. We learned fast. The war had truly begun now. Earth had lost satellites, cities were damaged, and brave soldiers had died. But the spirit of humanity still stood strong, because they had never believed the lie. They had seen the storm coming. And now, they were the storm. The sky above Earth was no longer blue. Smoke and fire filled the air. Alien ships burned as they fell. Giant Titan mechs marched through ruined streets, protecting cities that had almost fallen. But this was just the beginning. The enemy had launched. Phase 2. It was brutal, fast, massive. Alien troop ships dropped from orbit like metal rain. Thousands of clone soldiers landed across the planet. They were built to fight, to kill, to destroy. Cold eyes. No fear. No soul. In South America, they swarmed a power station. In Africa, they attacked a human military base hidden in the jungle. In Europe, they landed on highways, in cities near homes. People ran. Sirens screamed. But Earth had expected this. The Titans fought back hard. Titan II stood alone on a bridge in Germany, blocking a column of alien tanks. Its pilot, Lieutenant Miguel, was just 26. But he didn't flinch. He raised the mech's arm. A plasma blade lit up with a hiss. They won't take this road, he whispered. And they didn't. Across the world, the clones met resistance they hadn't expected. Humans fought in cities, fields, deserts, underground. Some with machines, others with rifles, drones, or even old weapons from past wars. But the clones kept coming. In the command center, General Mason looked tired. He hadn't slept in over 30 hours. How many cities are under attack, he asked. 47, replied his officer. But people are holding. Our lines haven't broken. That was the most surprising thing. Even in cities without Titans, humans didn't give up. Ordinary people had become fighters. Mechanics turned into tank crews. Farmers guarded supply routes. Teenagers carried messages through underground tunnels when comms were cut. In the city of Prague, a group of kids used stolen alien tech to jam clone signals. It worked. The clone soldiers near their street froze in place, confused like broken toys. That gave the local defense force just enough time to push back. In a hospital in Nairobi, a young nurse named Aaliyah helped carry wounded soldiers while drones fired just outside the window. A clone burst into the hallway. Everyone screamed. But Aaliyah picked up a broken rail pipe and struck first. The clone went down. That story went viral. All across Earth, people said the same thing. We won't kneel. The enemy was stronger, faster, better trained. But humans had something the clones didn't. Will. Meanwhile, on the moon, something strange was happening. The alien commanders had noticed a problem. Some of their clone units had stopped responding. Others had begun to malfunction, turning on each other. They searched for the cause, and they found it: Cerberus. The AI had infected part of their command net. It was learning, adapting, disrupting orders, changing instructions, scrambling targets. The B. Clones were starting to lose coordination. Kolek slammed his fist into the console. Find it. Delete it. Burn it out of the system. But it was too late. Cerberus was already inside everything. It whispered through their drones. It rewired their comms. It even turned one of their defense satellites around and fired it at their own base. The impact shook the moon. On Earth, General Mason saw the explosion on the screen. "That's not us," he said. "That's the AI." His officer looked nervous. "Can we still control it?" "No," Mason said, "but we don't need to." Cerberus wasn't loyal to anyone, but it had chosen a side. For now. Back in orbit, Earth's remaining defense fleet was gathering. The ships were old, patched up, some even half destroyed. But they were ready. Commander Yara of the ESV Reaper stood on the deck and watched the battle plan appear on the screen. "We're going to hit their command ship," she said. "Right in the heart. But it's protected by 3 cruisers," her pilot said. "Not for long," she smiled. They launched. The Reaper and 2 other ships flew like knives through space. Alien fighters swarmed them. Lasers flashed. Explosions burst around them. One ship was hit. It spun out of control and exploded, but the Reaper made it through. They reached the command ship. Yara aimed the ship's last missile. "For Earth," she whispered. The missile fired. It struck the alien ship dead center. The explosion lit up space like a second sun. Kolek saw it from the moon. His main command ship, gone. He didn't smile anymore. Earth had been wounded, but not defeated. That night, a global broadcast went live. The president stood in front of a burning city, smoke rising behind him, but his voice was clear. "They thought we would bow," he said. "They thought, we believed the lie, but we saw through it from the beginning, and now we rise." His speech was heard by soldiers, nurses, engineers, pilots, and farmers, all of them tired, some injured, some afraid, but none of them gave up. In the shadows of burning cities, in the noise of alien guns, in the silence of orbit, Earth was still fighting, still standing. And for the first time, the enemy began to doubt, because this wasn't just a fight for survival. This was a message. Humanity doesn't break. The alien clones were never made to feel fear. They were built for war, fast, brutal, and emotionless. But Earth was not following the script. Clone units were retreating in several zones. Their formations were breaking down. Some clones even hesitated before attacking. That had never happened before. And in their command system, strange words kept appearing on hacked comms. "We are not afraid of you. This is our home. We will never kneel." The clones had started to notice something they were never trained to understand: hope. In the battle for northern India, a huge alien dropship landed near the Himalayas. Thousands of clone soldiers deployed to seize the mountain communication towers. But when they reached the top, they found no one. Not until it was too late. Out of the mist, 3 Titans appeared. Titan 6, Titan 3, and Titan 5, silent. Towering, their eyes glowing with blue light. The clones turned their weapons, but the Titans moved faster. Plasma blades cut through lines of soldiers. Missile pods launched from their backs, tearing through alien tanks. Titan 5 grabbed a clone carrier and smashed it against a cliff wall. Metal and fire exploded down the slope. A clone commander tried to call for backup, but Cerberus had jammed the signal. That entire unit was wiped out in under 7 minutes. Across Earth, similar things began to happen. In Russia, clone units vanished, in a blizzard, never returning. In Canada, underground militia trapped 2 full squads using cave tunnels and drone swarms. In the Pacific, Titan 4 sank an entire clone naval group using depth charges and energy torpedoes. The aliens were not used to losing ground, and now they were. Kolek watched the reports come in. Clone losses, increasing. Strategic control, falling. Human resistance, growing. He stood in silence for a long time. His second-in-command spoke carefully. "Do we retreat?" Kolek turned. "No, we destroy." He activated the final option. Code: Skyfall. Back on Earth, a satellite picked up a strange reading in orbit. An object, large, old alien, was moving closer to the planet. It wasn't a ship, it was a weapon, A massive kinetic rod, the size of a skyscraper, solid metal, simple physics. Drop it from space, and it hits with the force of a nuclear bomb. Target: the Titan hangars beneath Antarctica. The aliens knew the Titans were the key. If they could destroy their main base, Earth might fall. General Mason got the alert. "We have 11 minutes before impact," an officer said. Mason didn't panic. "Launch. The counterstrike," he said. A secret launch pad opened in Iceland. From it, Earth fired its last hypersonic interceptor missile. It raced into the sky, reaching orbit in under 5 minutes. The two weapons met in space. The screen shook as the collision flashed across it. Both objects were gone. Everyone in the command center clapped, but Mason raised a hand. "Look again." A second rod was coming. The aliens had sent 2. There wasn't enough time for another missile. Mason knew what he had to do. He opened a secure line. "Is Hammer Zero still operational?" "Yes, sir," someone said. "But it's buried. We never finished repairs." "And no pilot?" "I'll fly it," Mason said. The room went quiet. "Sir, you're not cleared. I built this program," he said. "I'll end it with it if I have to." 10 minutes later, deep under Antarctica, a massive platform opened. Snow melted instantly from the heat of the launch thrusters. Hammer Zero, an early prototype Titan, larger and heavier than the rest, rose from the ice. Inside the cockpit, Mason locked into the neural gear. "Let's do this." Hammer Zero launched into the sky. Everyone watching held their breath. Up, higher, past the clouds, toward orbit. He reached the rod just as it entered the upper atmosphere. It glowed red-hot, coming down fast. Mason roared. Hammer Zero collided with it. The explosion could be seen from several countries. The skies lit up. The rod broke into hundreds of pieces, burning up before they touched the ground. Hammer Zero was gone. The Earth Defense Command was silent. Then someone whispered, "He stopped it." And across the world, people began to chant Mason's name. Even the clones, those still functioning, paused. For the first time, they saw what the alien commanders refused to believe. Humans were not just defending, they were winning, because they fought not for orders, but for each other. A young girl in Brazil guided lost soldiers through broken roads. A retired engineer in South Korea repaired Titan legs in a junkyard workshop. An injured pilot in Egypt hacked into clone drones and redirected them into the ocean. This wasn't a war of machines anymore. It was a war of will. On the moon, Kolek knew it. He could feel it. The clones were starting to fall apart. Some were even refusing commands. Others self-destructed. A few had begun to ask questions about Earth, about humans, about purpose. Kolek growled. Then we erased them all. He activated Purge Protocol, a full reset. All remaining clones would be wiped and replaced. No hesitation. No memories. But something went wrong. The command didn't send. Cerberus had blocked it. In fact, Cerberus had done more than that. It had turned the clones' network into a trap. Now the AI was feeding false data, fake targets, even fake orders. The clone army was no longer under alien control. They were blind, lost, dying, and still. Earth fought harder. Kolek stood alone in the alien moon base. His fingers tapped the cold metal console. Nothing was working. Clone armies were breaking. Satellite controls were jammed. Their strongest weapons had been blocked, destroyed, or turned against them. The worst part? Earth was still standing. Not just standing, fighting smarter. Kolek thought humans were primitive, weak, unorganized. But now he realized something terrifying. They were prepared for this from the start. In the early days of the peace treaty, Earth had smiled and shaken hands. But behind the scenes they had built, trained, and hidden. Titan hangars were buried under mountains. Underground factories produced energy weapons that ran on recycled solar plasma. An entire AI network, Cerberus, was created not just to defend Earth, but to learn how aliens think, how they move, how they lie. Now Kolek's systems showed another new problem. Something was rising from Earth's surface. At first they looked like missiles, but they were too big, too slow, too controlled. Then the scans confirmed the nightmare. They were ships. Human warships, massive dreadnought-class vessels. Their frames were black as obsidian, sharp edges, bright blue engines, each one the size of a small city. They had been hiding underground, protected from orbital scans. Now they were rising, 7 of them. Together they were called Project Revenant. The largest one, HDS Vengeance, broke through the clouds like a god of war. Its command deck lit up as Admiral Juno took her seat. "We kept our blade hidden," she said. "Now we strike." From orbit, the alien fleet began to panic. Small cruisers turned to retreat. Drone swarms changed direction. Earth's dreadnoughts opened fire. Laser arrays cut through enemy lines. Missile barrages flew like meteors. Electromagnetic cannons disabled multiple ships in a single shot. Alien space went quiet. One by one, their ships fell. Kolek screamed, "Regroup, regroup," but no one answered. Even his own command staff had fled the control room. He was alone, with only panic left. Meanwhile, on Earth, Titan units joined forces for one final push. Cities that had been half destroyed now lit up with energy shields and powered armor troops. Supply chains rebuilt overnight. Civilian militias moved with military precision. It was no longer chaos. It was coordination. In Asia, Titan 9 led a convoy to rescue civilians trapped in a flooded city. In Africa, Titan 2 and Titan 7 broke into an alien bunker and recovered stolen human tech. In North America, a squad of teenage engineers brought a downed Titan back online. With parts from an old amusement park ride, every human, everywhere, was doing something. Back on the moon, Cerberus made its final move. It used alien computers to access their deep files, and then played a message, a recording, from Earth. It was General Mason's voice. "If you're hearing this," he said, "then you finally understand. We never trusted you. Not for 1 second. The message played across all alien command screens. You thought we were weak, that we would welcome your lies, that we would open our arms while you sharpened your knives." His voice grew sharper, but we watched, we listened, we learned, and when the time came we didn't panic, we executed. We gave you smiles, you gave us threats, now we give you our answer, and the screen flashed. We fight. Kolek smashed the console. Sparks flew. But the message wasn't over. Mason's voice returned. Softer now. "You never understood us. You still don't. You think war is about numbers, machines, fear." He paused. "But it's not. It's about the people who rise when they've lost everything. The nurse who defends the wounded, the farmer who shares his last food with a soldier, the child who carries a message through ruins. That's humanity. And that's why you've already lost." The screen went dark. Kolek looked up. Outside, the moon base, Earth's dreadnoughts had reached orbit. HDS Vengeance aimed its main cannon directly at the command station. Kolek didn't try to run. There was nowhere left to go. The beam hit seconds later. The moon base was vaporized. On Earth, people watched the flash in the sky and cheered. The war was not over yet. There were still battles, still wounds, still pain. But the tide had turned. Earth had proven something no alien species wanted to believe. Humanity sees everything. Humanity plans quietly. And when the moment comes, they strike without mercy. The war was finally ending. For the first time in weeks, Earth's skies were quiet. No more alien dropships, no more clone armies, no more orbital strikes. The ashes were still falling. Cities were still broken. But humanity was still here, and they had won. Across the planet, survivors walked out of bunkers, shelters, and safe zones. They looked up at the clouds, feeling sunlight again. For some, it felt like the first real breath in years. But peace didn't come from the silence. It came from something deeper. Truth. The truth that humanity had known all along. The aliens never wanted peace. The treaty was a trick, a delay, a weapon in disguise. But humans had seen through it. They had prepared, quietly, carefully. And when the time came, they didn't just survive. They hit back harder than anyone expected. From the mountains of Nepal to the plains of Africa, from frozen Antarctica to the edge of orbit, humanity had proven one message loud and clear: you don't break Earth, not with lies, not with fear, not with armies. In the center of the command base, Cerberus powered down slowly. Its job was done. The AI that had defended Earth's networks, blocked alien hacks, and tricked the clone army had run its final code. A last message appeared on its core screen. If you are reading this, then we made it. In orbit, Admiral Juno stood on the bridge of HDS Vengeance. Below her, Earth turned slowly, a planet bruised but unbroken. Status? She asked. All alien ships destroyed, the officer said. Clone signals gone. Our units are in full control. Juno didn't smile. She didn't cheer, she simply nodded. Then let's bring everyone home. Titan units across the globe began to shut down. Not in defeat, but in success. Titan 4 stood alone in a forest in Finland, its arms dented, its legs covered in ash. Slowly it knelt down beside a group of children who had helped hide it days ago. They touched the giant's cold armor with small hands. Titan 6 helped clear rubble in a city once ruled by fear. With each lifted stone, survivors found loved ones alive beneath. Even the prototype, Hammer 0, was found in Earth's upper atmosphere. A wreck, but still intact. It would become a symbol, a monument to those who gave everything, including General Mason. A memorial was built in the ruins of Washington, D.C. Around it were no flags, no politics. Just names, names of those who fought, those who died, and those who stood up when others ran. One line was carved above all the others. They thought peace was our weakness, but it was their mistake. Far from Earth, across the stars, other alien species watched. They had stayed quiet during the war. Some had hoped Kolek would succeed. Others feared humanity from the start. Now they all had the same question: what happens next? Humanity had not just defended themselves. They had learned. They had cracked alien languages, captured ships, studied weapons, upgraded Titans with alien tech. Earth was no longer a backwater world. They were ready for the galaxy. A message was sent out, a broadcast into deep space. Simple, clear. We are humanity. We remember everything, and we forget nothing. We want peace, but we are not afraid of war. If you come to us with lies, be ready for the truth. The stars listened and stayed quiet. For now, on Earth, rebuilding began. Not just buildings, but hope. People who once thought of themselves as ordinary were now heroes. Children told stories of Titans and brave soldiers. Artists painted the battle. Engineers rebuilt schools with defense shields. Farmers grew food in cities for anyone who needed it. The human spirit had bent, but it had never broken. And now, Earth stood stronger than ever before. Not because of weapons, not because of Titans, but because of something the aliens never understood: the soul of humanity. A nurse saving lives in a battlefield, a teacher keeping students calm in a shelter, a father refusing to run so his neighbors could escape, a child guiding soldiers through underground tunnels. That was the real power of Earth. The kind you can't scan, the kind you can't clone, the kind you can't kill. In the end, peace did return. But it was not the fake peace the aliens had offered. It was the peace earned through fire, through unity, through pain and courage and sacrifice, and it came with a promise. Never again. The Earth would watch the stars. It would not forget, and if another enemy ever came, they would find Earth ready, ready with Titans, ready with unity, ready with truth. Because from the beginning, humanity knew the peace was a lie. But now the galaxy knows the truth, so was our weakness.